is an audiobook of Interchange English, Grammar and Composition of Class 9. Chapter 26, page number 261. Short Skeleton Stories. Read the following story, The King and the Spider. There was a king who lost his kingdom being defeated by his enemies. He wished to regain his kingdom at any cost. He collected troops and made as many as 6 attempts to drive away the enemies. But by irony of fate, he was defeated each and every time. He then hid himself in a cave. One day, when he was lying in the cave in a pensive mood, he saw a spider trying to climb up the wall of the cave. But it failed 6 times and succeeded the 7th time. The king was inspired by this, and he fought against the enemies for the 7th time. This time he became successful and regained his lost kingdom. Moral: endeavor with patience is the mother of success. Story writing is the oldest form of written composition. It is an art which can be learned only by practice. A story is an account of past events, incidents, or imagined events. To write a good story, the following guidelines will be helpful. Number 1, title. Heading or title, if required, should be carefully chosen. You may name it after the chief point, character, or incident. Or you may choose a proverb, quotation, or some well-known maxim that the story illustrates. Number 2, order. In telling a story, the events should be related in the order of time in which they occurred. Number 3, plot. Every story must have a plot. That is, a thought-out plan that will bring all the events to a crisis wherein lies the whole point of telling the story. Before we begin to write our story, we must think out a proper conclusion and plan out in our mind the chief events in such a way that they might lead up to the climax in a convincing manner. Number 4, proportion. To make the story interesting, the proportion between the important and the less important points should be maintained. We should emphasize the important points, pass over the minor points, neglect all useless details, and finish up in the most natural way. Number 5, logical movements of events. The events in the story must move in a logical order. All unnecessary details should be avoided, but details which are essential should not be excluded. Number 6, clarity. The story should be written in such a way that the movement of events is clearly understandable even to a child. There is not more scope for suggestiveness, ambiguity, or circumlocution in story writing. CIRCUMLOCUTION. Number 7, consistency. There should be consistency, especially in characterization. The characters should not sound illogical and whimsical. WHIMSICAL. 8, personal interest. The characters of the story must be made as distinctive and alive as possible. Each character must have an individuality of his or her own and behave as naturally as in real life. Great story writers create characters which live, breathe, and move like real human beings. 9, setting, time and place. A story writer should give clear descriptions of the locality where the events take place, the weather, the time, day, night, evening, personal appearance of the people, etc. 10. Use the past tense, but we can use present or future tenses also in dialogues while using direct speech. 11. Sometimes dialogues or direct speech should be used to make the story lively and interesting. 12. Write a suitable title of the story, which must be brief but covering the whole theme of the story. Number 13. Write the moral of the story either directly in the next sentence or indirectly implying in the last sentence of the story. It can be a very famous proverb, saying, or quote, or your own witty remarks. Some more tips for writing stories. Read the clues 2 or more times and picture in your mind what the story is about. Strictly follow the outline. Do not change the story or its details. Generally, the outline for a story is given in the present tense, but the story is often written in the past tense. Have a clear and definite idea of the plot of the story. Arrange your points in proper natural order. Do not jump from point to point. Think out the proper connection between the various points of your story. Add other necessary points that make real sense in the story. Completing a story is not simply a gap-filling task, so do not add only a few words in the gaps to complete the story. Try to develop a readable story using the outline. Write the story in the past tense unless stated otherwise and in a language that is simple and grammatically accurate. Never forget to give a suitable title in the beginning and the moral at the end of the story. Some famous opening lines for stories. Number 1. "Take my camel, dear," said my Aunt Dot, as she climbed down from this animal on her return from High Mass. Rose Macaulay, "The Towers of Trebizond." 2. The sky above the port was the color of television tuned to a dead channel. William Gibson, Neuromancer. Number 3. Justice. You get justice in the next world. In this world, you have the law. William Gaddis, A Frolic of His Own. Number 4. It was a bright cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. George Orwell, 1984. Number 5. Once upon a time, there was a woman who discovered she had turned into the wrong person. Anne Tyler, Back When We Were Grown-Ups. Number 6. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. L.P. Hartley, The Go-Between. Number 7. There was a desert wind blowing that night. It was one of those hot, dry Santa Anas that come down through the mountain passes and curl your hair and make your nerves jump and your skin itch. On nights like that, every booze party ends in a fight. Meek little wives feel the edge of the carving knife and study their husband's neck. Anything can happen. You can even get a full glass of beer at a cocktail lounge. Raymond Chandler, Red Wind. Number 8. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life or whether that station will be held by anybody else. These pages must show. Charles Dickens, David Copperfield. Number 9. It was the best of the times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. Number 10. He was born with a gift of laughter and a sense that the world was mad. Raphael Sabatini, Scaramouche. Number 11. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in a want of a wife. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. 12. If you really want to hear about it, the first thing you'll probably want to know is where I was born and what my lousy childhood was like, and how my parents were occupied and all before they had me, and all that David Copperfield kind of crap, but I don't feel like going into it if you want to know the truth. J.D. Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye. 13. Every summer, Lin Kong returned to Goose Village to divorce his wife Su Yu. Ha Jin, Waiting. 14. Long gone are the days when the key players of education could work in isolation in their own organizational silos. 15. Once there was not. ... Some specimen stories. Are you educated? Once upon a time, a well-educated man was traveling in a boat. He talked with the boatman who was rowing the boat. The educated man said to the boatman, "Are you literate?" The boatman replied that he was not, because he did not get chance to read and write. The educated man said proudly, "Then you have lost half of your life knowing nothing." Actually, he had spent his half-life rowing his boat, otherwise he couldn't join his hand and mouth. After a while, a big storm began. The boatman had difficulty balancing the boat. The boat was about to sink. The storm grew more and more. Then the boatman asked the educated man if he knew how to swim. He replied that he did not. And the boatman said, "Then you're losing your whole life without learning anything." The boat overturned. The boatman jumped into the water and started to swim, as he could swim, but the educated man drowned and lost his life. Moral: we learn more by experience than by mere reading, or practice is more important than theory. Write a readable story with the help of the guidelines given below. A king disappointed blank, his people lazy blank. To teach them a lesson, he had a big stone put in the middle of the road one night blank. Next day, merchants pass and go round it blank. An officer driving his car did the same blank. A young soldier came cycling, did the same blank. All cursed the stone and blamed the government for not removing it blank. Then the king had the stone removed blank. Many people washed it blank. Under it was an iron box marked, "For the man who moves away the stone blank." Inside was a purse full of money blank. The people were ashamed blank. Moral: the clever king and his lazy people. Once there was a king. He was disappointed to his people because all his people had been lazy. He wanted to teach them a lesson. So one night he had big stone put in the middle of the road. The next day merchants passed and went round it. An officer driving his car did the same. When a young soldier came cycling, he, too, did the same. The passers-by cursed the stone and blamed the government for not removing it. Then finally the king had the stone removed in the presence of many people. They saw that under the stone there was an iron box marked, "For the man who moves that stone away." The box contained a purse full of money. The people were ashamed at their lazy behavior. Moral: laziness never brings fruit. Short story writing can be asked in free writing exercise, in which case the item carries 6 marks and you will be provided either the beginning, ending, title or the moral. Here are some questions for your practice. Show what you know. Number 1. Construct readable stories with the help of the guideline given below. Number A. A farmer blank, an amazing goose blank, laid a golden egg daily blank. The farmer greedy blank, thinks to be rich at once blank, kills the goose to get all the eggs inside her blank. Great disappointment blank, gets a single egg blank. Moral: number B. 3 artists compete blank. One paints a wreath of flowers blank. A bee comes and sits on the picture blank. Another paints a basket of fruit blank. An ox tries to seize it blank. The third paints a curtain blank. All the 3 pictures placed before the judge blank. The judge tries to raise the curtain blank. This picture adjust the best, it deceives a man blank. Others only insect and animal. C. A farmer with several sons blank always quarreled blank. The farmer was sad blank, fell ill and taken to hospital blank, dying blank, called his sons blank, gave a bundle of sticks blank, told them to break them blank. All tried blank, couldn't break the sticks blank, untied the bundle blank, gave the sticks separately blank, easily broke each stick blank. Moral: D. A greedy dog blank, a piece of meat in his mouth blank, goes outside blank, crosses bridge blank, sees his own shadow blank, mistakes it for another dog with a piece of meat blank, tries to snatch the shadow of the piece of meat blank, loses his pieces of meat blank. Moral: number E. A fox falls into a well, blank, cannot get out, blank. A thirsty goat passes that way, blank, looks down into the wall, blank. The fox invites him to drink the cool water, blank. The foolish goat jumps into the well, blank. The fox leaps upon its head and gets out, blank. Moral. F. Two friends passing through a forest, blank. A bear comes out, blank. One at once climbs up a tree, blank. Other lies on the ground as if dead, blank. The bear smells his body, blank. Goes away, blank. The friend on the tree gets down, blank. Inquires, blank. What the bear said, blank. Moral. G. Pond in a jungle, blank. A stag comes to drink, blank. He sees his own reflection, blank. Feels proud of his horn and admires, blank. He despises his thin legs, blank. Hunters and hounds come nearer, blank. The stag runs away, blank. Horns get caught in a tree, blank. Cannot run away, blank. Repents, blank. Moral. H. A lion lies asleep, blank. A mouse runs over the body, blank. The lion awakes, blank. Catches the mouse, blank. Begs for mercy forgiven, blank. The lion is caught in a net, blank. He roars, blank. The mouse comes out, blank. Cuts the ropes, blank. The lion becomes free, blank. Moral. I. Many Eskimos, blank, not live as they used to, blank, in houses, blank. Factories for American oil companies, blank. Many become Americanized, wear Western clothes, blank. Schooling, blank. Speak English. Now no hunting, blank. Buy foods from shops, blank. Even buy frozen meat and vegetables. J. A wicked shepherd boy grazes his flock of sheep near forest farmers working in a field nearby, blank. Boy hits a fawn, blank. Cries, wolf, wolf, blank. Farmers run to help him, blank. The boy laughs at them, blank. No wolf, blank. He does so again and deceives them again, blank. A wolf really comes, blank. The boy cries in fright, blank. No farmers to help, blank. He loses all his sheep, blank. His folly, blank. Moral lesson. K. Androcles, slave in Carthage, blank. Runs away, blank. Lives in a cave in desert, blank. Lion comes limping, blank. Thorn in foot, blank. Androcles pulls out thorn, blank. Lion grateful, blank. Soon after to be thrown to lion, blank. One lion not touches him, blank. Lays at his feet, blank. Same lion, blank. Governor hears Androcles' story, blank. Pardon Androcles, blank. Set lion free. L. A cat kills many mice, blank. Mice hold a meeting, blank. Discuss how to be safe, blank. A young mouse says, let's tie a bell around its neck, blank. All agree. Happy, blank. A wise old mouse says, but who will bell the cat, blank. All quiet. M. A king defeats for many times, blank. Hides in the cave, blank. Sees a spider climbing the wall, blank. Falls several times, blank. Gets success at last, blank. The king collects enough courage, blank. Attacks enemies, blank. Succeeds, blank. Moral. N. 12 fools start on a journey, blank. Cross a river, blank. Count themselves, blank. Each not counting himself, blank. Counts 11, blank. Meets a passerby, blank. He finds out the lost man, blank. Gives each fool a blow, blank. Counts 12. O. A thirsty crow found water in a pitcher, blank. Water was too low, blank. It picked up stones and threw them into the pitcher, blank. The water rose, blank. The crow easily drank water, blank. Moral. 2. Write a story from the following outline. Give it a suitable title. Blank. A storm fell upon a forest, blank. A dead tree struck by lightning, blank. The forest was on fire, blank. A little parrot flew towards the river, blank. A desperate idea came to him, blank. dipped himself into the water, blank, flew back to the forest, blank, released the drop of water into the heart of blaze, blank, continued this task, blank, an eagle appeared, blank, suggested him to save his life and stop that useless task, blank, the parrot wanted help, not advice, blank, the eagle realized and joined the parrot, blank, all the other birds joined too, blank, they seized the forest fire, blank, all creature praised them, blank, moral. 3. Develop the following outlines into short stories. A. Back on the stage to perform, blank, recall the accident, blank, lost confidence, blank, the good man, blank, adopted, blank, new life, blank, loud applause, blank, honored his savior, blank. B. A day of great excitement for Sharmila, blank, had waited for his return, blank, arrival announced at the airport, blank, heart skips a bit, blank. Number 4. Write a short story to illustrate the truth of the following statements. A. Self-help is the best help. B. Knowledge is power. Number 5. Use the following story starter to build a story. A. The opening of the letter brought a smile on her face. B. It was not the birthday gift he had expected. C. I didn't realize I was so close to victory until I heard the cheers of the crowds. 6. Write a story about 100 to 120 words with the following as the last line. Why, oh why, did you leave the back door open? Number 7. Write a short story to illustrate the truth of the following statements. A. Self-help is the best help. B. Money is a good servant but a bad master. C. Knowledge is power. 8. Given below is the beginning of a story. Begin it suitably and connect it with its ending. Complete the story in about 100 words. An old blind man was sitting on a busy street corner in the rush hour, begging for money. On a cardboard sign next to an empty tin cup, he had written, blind, please help, ... Number 9. Given below is the beginning of the story. Begin it suitably and connect it with its ending. Complete the story in about 100 words. Fiona Famous was a very popular girl at school. She was fun and got on well with everyone. She tried to be friendly to everyone. Number 10. Read the lines given below and continue the story. Give it a logical conclusion in about 100 words. In a small village, there was a farmer who owned an old mule that used to carry grains and other farming-related stuff for the farmer. One day, the mule fell into a well. ... With this, we have ended chapter number 26 at page number 267.